Des millions de dollars, oui, clients nous fait. Nous avons plus que 35 ans d'expérience. Tendez ça, nous ne pouvons pas charger $1 si vous n'avez pas une caisse là. Relez nous aujourd'hui pour consultation gratis. 866 945 47 68. Ou faire accident machine, ou frapper dans travail, ou t'as le docteur ou bien l'hôpital, il va te faire travailler bien, il te fait mauvais pratique. Ou glisser, ou tomber, ou gros blessure, ou prenons gros catastrophe. Ou que famille, amis, le docteur, il va le mauvais remède qui cause de mourir parce que tu as le mauvais soin. Il fait discrimination contre nous, nous avons tout problème ça. C'est juste que nous dans 866 945 47 68. Bon, me dis, pas tracasser tout, puisque nous parlons plusieurs langues. Nous parlons espagnol. Zami, frère, gardez, si vous faites accident, assurez-vous qu'on choisit un avocat qui a des années d'expérience. Un avocat qui a un bon résultat. Mais, pas comprendre que le résultat, l'autre monde joue, c'est le même résultat ou joue. Il pas comme ça. Eh bien, relais injury là au groupe, 866 945 47 68. Équipe ça, belle équipe ça, équipe injury là au groupe là, il y a des années, depuis la veille des gens qui ont injury, gens qui fait accident, avec un pile d'assurance. Nous aidons les gens à faire des millions de dollars. Des millions de dollars, oui, clients nous fait. Nous avons plus que 35 ans d'expérience. Tendez ça, nous ne pouvons pas charger $1 si vous n'avez pas une caisse là. Relez nous aujourd'hui pour consultation gratis. 866 945 47 68. Ou faire accident machine, ou frapper dans travail, ou t'as le docteur ou bien l'hôpital, il va te faire travailler bien, il te fait mauvais pratique. Ou glisser, ou tomber, ou gros blessure, ou prenons gros catastrophe. Ou que famille, amis, le docteur, il va le mauvais remède qui cause de mourir parce que tu as le mauvais soin. Il fait discrimination contre nous, avons tout problème ça. C'est juste que nous dans 866 945 47 68. Bon, me dis, pas tracasser tout, puisque nous parlons plusieurs langues. Nous parlons espagnol, nous parlons créole. Un jour, là, au groupe, office principal, nous, dans Boca Raton, dans Florida. Regardez, depuis après l'avocat, nous voulons laisser nous rele.
Bonsoir.
Hey, Gabilo, how you doing? Hey, Wab, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, good.
Good.
So, how's everything?
Everything's great.
How was your weekend?
Oh, excellent weekend. Excellent
Yeah.
weekend. It's always nice to be back on Monday, but it's
Yeah.
an excellent weekend.
Yeah, the weekend was nice. So, basically, Wab, today you're gonna introduce me because you are the boss.
I'm rarely called the boss. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, my name is Rob Trilling. I'm an attorney at Your Injury Law Group. And of course, with me today is Claude Jean-Baptiste,
Yep.
a paralegal at Your Injury Law Group,
yeah.
who happens to also speak and is fluent in Creole.
Yep.
A terrific people person. I'm glad to have you here, Claude. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, moi-même, c'est Claude Jean-Baptiste, moi, ensemble avec Robert Trilling, là, il y en a gros avocats nous dans la communauté, nous, je dis à nous, là, ensemble, mon yo, encore pour l'autre émission. C'est, ouais, n'a dit mon yo, si vous avez une question pour vous poser, nous, relais nous dans 866 945 47 68, ça, c'est le numéro office là. Et pendant nous, dans la radio, là, si mon yo t'a voulu relais ou bien poser nos questions, vous relais nous dans 561 576 16 00, numéro encore c'est 561 16 576 16 00. Your Injury Law Group, c'est leur groupe, toute communauté à nous là avec mon yo tout le temps, yo carré nous 24 sur 24, nous toujours prêts pour téléphone nous et nous pas jamais répondre téléphone nous. Rob, we here today. Basically, Rob, one of the questions we got every day. So why people need to hire an attorney when they get involved in a car accident?
You know, that's a
slip and fall.
Any type of accident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any type of accident.
You know,
Why?
And a lot of, that stems from me having said so often over and over again that the most important thing I think that someone can do after any kind of an injury claim is to contact an experienced attorney and get an experienced attorney working for you right away.
Yeah, because basically the call is free, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, ça on monde qui fait plus important les law involved dans quel que soit agent d'accident involved là. Premier bah on t'a supposé faire contact un avocat qui a expérience et pour avocat qui a expérience en cas et do commencer process là et yeah, go ahead.
So there's a whole lot of reasons, in my opinion, as to what the attorney can help you with or what the attorney should be helping you with. The number one thing that I always deal with, think about, is dealing with insurance companies.
Yeah, parce que premier bagage pour mon bon bagage qui premier bagage pour mon avocat carré et do ensemble avec c'est dealing avec assurance combat yo. Pour me dire nous bien mon yo bagage deal avec assurance combat ça son tête chargée lié plus nous te ka un avocat qui a expérience qui a aider nous deal avec assurance combat ya li tape pi bon pour nous parce que pour ça moi n'a prendre là dans bagage assurance combat ça là c'est moi pour dire nous.
You know, just about every aspect of a claim, you deal with an insurance company more often than not. And certainly they're involved in literally every aspect of every claim. So what you want to do is make sure you understand, first of all, what the purpose of an insurance company is with respect to your claim and what your responsibilities are when dealing with the insurance companies.
Yeah, faut qu'on cherche qu'on qui responsabilité gain lo abdi la avec assurance compagnie.
You know, you see this at every stage, but initially, I think the first place that people see it is when dealing, particularly in car accidents, motor vehicle accidents, is when dealing with getting their cars fixed or repaired or replaced.
Yeah, c'est yon nan ba qui gain en pile tête charge ensemble avec les moun nan accident façon pour ka faire et ranger assurance ranger machine nan boule.
You know, it's important to remember what insurance companies are. Insurance companies are big companies, typically, or companies that are in business for the purpose of making money for their owners, like every other business.
Yeah, assurance compagnie yo gros business yo na raison principale yo c'est faire l'argent pour mettre yo.
So when you deal with an insurance company from an auto accident or any type of claim, you're dealing with someone, typically the adjuster, who their sole job is to handle claims of similar type as yours. So they handle claims for the insurance companies literally every day, all day. That's what they do.
Yeah, adjuster aussi ça fait seulement yo gère claim pour assurance compagnie yo chaque jour. Ouais ça m'do ça veut dire qu'on est exactement qui ça à faire.
And they're very good at minimizing the expenses that their insurance company is going to have to incur, because that's how you make money. You make money by taking in premiums, if you're an insurance company, and you spend and you compare that against how much money you're paying out in benefits.
Yeah, parce que ça mon yo fait adjuster ce job yo ça est vraiment bon adon pour minimiser l'argent assurance compagnie yo a payer.
So it stands to reason that the lower the amount is that they have to pay, the more profit there is for the insurance company.
Yeah, the PPT au café assurance payer c'est plus profit assurance café. When you finish, I have a question for you.
Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I have a question. Basically, that happened a lot. People getting some insurance coverage, they don't know exactly what they have. They find out what kind of coverage they have when they get involved in an accident.
Yes,
is it a good idea before somebody get any coverage to let somebody go over them with you?
Absolutely. You know, the coverages that you have are super important. They're very important.
You're not nowhere na communauté nou. Moun yo gon équipe le rele pour yo prend coverage yo. Moun yo pas vraiment connaît qui coverage yo gen. C'est les moun nan involve no accident vinn connaît pas gen tant coverage. C'est pas ça monde qui t'a bal assurance là te dit yo te dit gen full coverage et après il vinn connaît gen coverage pas de gagner full coverage pas de payer mon n'a pas celle te gen rento les rento cher les regarder c'est $15 au payer par jour les fini rento machine c'est $30-40. So ça son problème mais c'est poser une question sur les pour nous qui ça n'a fait dans cas.
I think you hit the nail right on the head when you were talking about rental car coverage.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, was because that's a great example where people don't necessarily know what they're getting.
Yeah.
So you have your full coverage, typically. People will say, oh, I've got full coverage, I got collision,
they
I
always
got
say
rental.
that I got full coverage,
Right.
so basically I got everything.
So I asked the question, how much in rental car coverage do you think you have? Like, for example, how much per day does it pay for?
Yeah.
We saw one today, for example, where the coverage was $15 a day.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I could ever find a car back 2 years ago for $15 a day. It's certainly not in this economy. So you have to ask right before, even before you have an accident, when you're evaluating your own insurance, what kind of coverage am I really buying?
Yeah.
Everybody says, oh, I bought rental, but what does it mean?
Yeah, moun yo non ta yon nan ba n'a dit moun yo pour yo porter attention à ça, les prend coverage là parce que des fois moun yo pas connait qui qualité coverage yo gen. Tant qu'aujourd'hui à nos jeunes cas moun nan dit ti gen full coverage, les demander combien cob li gen nan rento, li dit pas connait, les regarder et $15 moun nan gen par jour. Pas gen machine wap jeune aujourd'hui nan laisse ça qu'on y a pour $15. N'a dit moun yo les prend assurance yo, make sure yo si on pas comprendre ça qui passe à relon monde qui comprend pour aider parce que et bah c'est vraiment tricky des fois faut gon monde qui connaît qui pour aider là-dedans.
Now, it can get even more complicated than that because, for example, someone's in an accident and it's the other party's fault. The other party can be responsible for, the other party's insurance company may be responsible for your rental car, and that's not bound by contract. So there's some added information, there's some added layer of protection that you may have. And again, an experienced attorney can guide you through this.
Yeah, c'est ça que fait des fois monde qui si on monde frappe au monde nan des fois il pas gon contrat monde nan ka take rental machine nan assurance monde nan ka take pour but il pas gain obligation pour le faire ça. Si ça fait là dans situation ça besoin avocat qui gain expérience qui pour bataille pour qui pour aider joindre sort à supposé joindre qui pour aider machine ranger qui pour take care tout bagay pour.
There are times when it's better for you to go through your own insurance company, and there's times it is better for you to go through the other person's insurance company.
Yeah,
and it's important to be able to understand and quickly identify which is the better option.
Yeah, des fois gen des laisser na aller dans assurance pour là, des fois gen des laisser dans assurance mon pour aller. But li vraiment important pour bon monde beaucoup qui pour expliquer na qui ça cap pi bon pour na qui assurance pour aller qui cap pi bon.
You know, there's so many aspects of what happens after an accident that people have to deal with, and you don't always think about before you know the claim actually arises and as things are going on.
Yeah, so basically, Rob, you give out some good information.
I appreciate that.
Can you remind the phone number and everything again?
Absolutely. If people have a question about we're here talking about general principles, Claude, you know that. We're just talking about general principles of law. If you have a specific question about your case, give us a call at our office at 866 945 4768 866-945-4768.
So, n'a dit mon yo n'a ba question générale yo n'a répondre là si mon yo ta une question, relez nous dans 866 945 47 68 et pas oublier mon yo appel la free nous pas payer $1 pour lui et téléphone ça li sonner toutes les nous répondre appel là toutes les ou pas de problème même de pour les numéro téléphone là ou joindre monde répondre si on monde pas répondre ou joindre monde relo back avant 24 heures de temps. So, pas négliger les numéros, c'est 866 945 47 68.
One of the other things that we've seen a lot of is when the insurance companies will tell somebody, oh, I need a statement from you. Or if you call the insurance company to report the claim, they're going to say, well, let me take a statement from you. And
yeah, il y a un travail qui est vraiment important. Les gens qui ont l'assurance compagnie pour reporter un claim, l'assurance a toujours dit le besoin statement, non, mais ça vraiment important.
Now, there are times when you have an obligation to cooperate with the insurance company, and there are times when that obligation doesn't exist.
Yeah, des fois, il y a une obligation pour coopérer avec l'assurance, des fois, tout doit obligation, ça va exister.
And then even those times when you have an obligation to cooperate with your own insurance company, it's sometimes even better then to have an attorney representing you so that you're not caught in a trap of giving a statement when you really shouldn't be giving a statement.
Yeah. So, même là, il y a une obligation des fois pour parler avec l'assurance pour là, des fois, les plus bon pour un avocat qui a expérience qui pourrait représenter pour pas mettre tête dans problème.
I always say, because people ask, you know, when is the best time to call an attorney? And I always say, as soon as you realize that you have a claim, a potential claim, or even have a question about a potential claim, call an experienced attorney. You know, give us a call at our office, 866 945 47 68. Give us a call. We're happy to explain to you your rights. We'll listen to what the situation is. And it's important because so many times the information itself may vary depending upon what everybody has in terms of insurance, what everybody has in terms of liability. There's so many nuances that can affect what your rights are and what your responsibilities are. It is really important, in my opinion, it's very important to get good, competent legal advice as quickly as possible.
Yeah, c'est vraiment important pour mon yo monde compétent, cap bayo conseil légal bon côté yo, plus vite que possible parce que yo toujours demander qui l'est pour yo t'arrêter un avocat, plus vite que possible, là non accident, là réaliser t'as non accident ou bien non slip and fall. Les avocats plus vite que possible. Numéro nous c'est Your Injury Law Group, numéro c'est 866 945 47 68 et si on veut poser nos questions dans la radio à l'alcaré les 561 576 16 00 561 576 16 00. Yeah, well, when you're talking about rental car, so basically sometimes people they don't understand they pay the rental car for them for a certain amount of days.
Right.
So they think when they have they have the rental car, they have it for they can keep the rental forever. Can you give a little bit of advice on that?
Absolutely. You know, there's so many things that it depends on. Like, for example, if it's your own insurance company, then it's limited not just by how much per day that they're going to pay, but also by how many days they're obligated to pay for, up to. And a good example is so much per day at up to 30 days. That's a very typical situation in many insurance companies. That may apply to your case, it may not, but that's the typical numbers that we see. X number of dollars per day for 30 days. That's through your own insurance company.
Okay.
Then you've got the situation where it's the adverse parties, the other party's insurance company that may be responsible. There's limitations there too. And we see a lot of limitations in those policies that affect how long people's rental cars paid for by the other guy's insurance company.
Okay.
It gets even more complicated because now today the repair times, the wait times for parts, because of the supply chain issues that so many times we see when dealing with these, it can be a lot longer to repair a car than it used to take.
Okay.
And of course, it depends on whether the car is drivable during that period of time or not. There's so many factors. But again, all of this are things that we typically deal with just as part of what we deal with in dealing with insurance, with claims. It's just part of what we do.
Yeah.
It's not something we charge extra for. It's not something or anything like that. It's just when you deal with a claim, you deal with the entire claim as an attorney.
Yeah.
So I've always say, you're basically getting a lot for what you're getting.
That's why I wasn't gonna say, Wob. Is this a extra service that you give at the office? Because some people, they say when they go to another office, they don't usually taking care of the.
I think some offices do. I don't know what other attorneys do. I know what we do. I know what we do at our office, because that's what, these are the policies that I've put in place here, because I want it to be something special. I want your injury law group to be about the people. It's about your case, and we want to be able to represent them. We handle questions and field questions and handle situations that we're not going to get paid for.
Yeah.
And I do it as a courtesy. Yeah. When we decide to do something, we do it as a courtesy in that situation. So it's not always about making the money or anything like that. It's about providing the service. People, I can't speak for other attorneys. I can only speak for what we do.
Yeah.
And what we do, this is part of what the service that we provide.
Yeah. So, mon yo no tande, parce que nous bay mon yo service, nous pas même toucher pour yo même. Parce que les office là, rêve nous c'est bay mon yo service, parce que gondal service nous bay, nous pas parler pour l'autre avocat, qui ça l'autre avocat fait. But nous même nous bay mon yo service, yo pas même, nous pas même toucher pour yo. Si ça fait dit mon yo, quelle que soit question yo gain, relé nous dans office là dans 868 945 47 866 945 47 68.
You were so close.
Appel la free. Mon yo pas payer $1 pour appel la toujours free. Mon yo pas payer $1. N'a dit mon yo encore numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. It looks like you speak Creole, but better than me.
No, you're the Creole speaker, not me. But yes, I try.
So go ahead.
One of the things I was also going to talk about was that when you're dealing with the insurance companies, when you're dealing with any aspect of injury claims, Florida law is very complicated, as you know, Claude. You're a certified, trained paralegal. You're familiar with the laws here in Florida, as am I. And the reality is that when it comes to accidents, the law can be very complicated depending upon the situation. And I'll give you a good example of that. Medical treatment.
Yeah.
As you know, when you're involved in a car accident, there's certain insurance coverages that are typically available. Typically, it's PIP, personal injury protection. And for those that don't know, PIP is something that you pay for that pays for up to 80% of your medical expenses, up to 60% of your lost wages, with a maximum benefit of $10,000.
Okay. Yep. Comme on yo connaît PIP a payé pour lui, il paye 80% pour up to 80% pour les wal dans docteur.
But what a lot of people don't realize is that you first have to qualify for that coverage. Even if you've been in an accident, that doesn't mean you're qualified. There's a certain period of time within which you have to receive medical treatment for your injuries. Yeah. If you don't, you're not going to get any benefits of that.
Yeah. Et PIP a tout même l'ont payé pour lui. Il paye 80% dans bill l'hôpital tout, but gon gens pour qualifier pour lui. Et pas parce que on paye pour lui, ça veut dire tout qualifier pour lui, gon gens pour qualifier pour lui.
Then there are certain circumstances where you may qualify for your benefits, but it may be limited to $2,500 versus the full $10,000 in benefits. And that's based upon Florida law.
Yeah, et des fois où qu'on qualifier, même l'autre a qualifié pour lui tout pour des fois qu'on qualifié pour $2,500, ou l'autre a qualifié pour tout full $10,000.
So obviously, all of these things are important, and of course, getting good, competent advice about that. We've heard people talk to other people in the accident about what their rights are and things like that, and they oftentimes will go down the wrong path. It'll lead them to a path where they forfeit some rights. And I've seen that very recently. You and I saw that very recently.
Yeah.
Where somebody called and they took advice from someone else who was in the accident saying, oh, don't do this, don't do this.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they just really destroyed a lot of their own rights because of it. So who you take advice from is very, very important. And my suggestion is take advice from the experts, from people who are qualified, people who had the experience to do it, to give you good advice. You know, we've been doing this. I've been practicing law now for, I want to say, over 35 years. It's actually now over 38 years.
It was on like 85.
85, right? January of 85 was when I was sworn in as an attorney. So I've been practicing in personal injury and insurance claims ever since.
So how long you've been in the Haitian community? Same time?
The same amount of time. My very first job, we've talked about this on the air. My very first job was with a firm that really had a tremendous presence and handled a lot of clients in the Haitian community. And I learned from that. It was a great experience for me.
So, Wab, I have one question for you. What if I don't have any paper and I get involved in an accident? Sometimes people said if you don't have paper, so more don't let the police put you on the police report. Is it a good stuff to do?
No, that's in my opinion, that's very bad advice, in my opinion. And the reason for that is because if you're, there are a couple of reasons. Number one, if you're involved in a car accident, your rights are not dependent upon your immigration status or your citizen status. One has nothing to do with the other. You're involved in an accident, you're injured because of someone else's negligence, you have rights. And it's important that you know that so you can pursue those rights. And the second part of it, and you might want to translate that.
Parce que des fois moun yo kon parce que yo pa gen papier, si yo gon accident, si yo involve non accident, l'autre moun yo di yo faut sorti nan machine nan, pas quitter police là ouais yo, pas quitter police là mettre yo dans report là. Ça pas un bon conseil pour moun yo tabay yo parce que même l'on pas gen papier ici, et pour involve non accident ou gen droit même gens avec tout le monde, il va en raison pour courir quitter machine nan pour pas quitter police là mettre yo dans report là.
And in the example that you gave about the police report, this is a very important issue. If you're not on the police report, it makes it very, very difficult to prove that you were in the accident.
Parce que pour pas dans police report là, vraiment difficile pour prouver que vous êtes dans accident.
You've heard me say this over and over again when we talk about different things to do things to do involved in an accident. One of the most important things is to make sure that everybody who's in the vehicle is their information is given to the police officer so that they can, the investigating officer, so they will appear on the police report.
Nous toujours dit mon yo ça premier faut mon yo make sure les yo involve dans accident pour yo make sure police la venir pour gagner toute information tout le monde qui était dans machine pour non mon yo ka mettre pour police la mettre non mon yo dans police report là.
Now that doesn't mean that if you're not on the a lot of people say, well, I wasn't on the police report, so that means I have no rights. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. It means it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yes,
but we've been able to prove oftentimes, those times when it happens, so many times we're able to prove that the person was in the accident, and that's the bottom line. We have to be able to prove that they were in the accident. Being on the police report is presumptive that you were in the accident. It's a presumption that, hey, that person was in the accident, the police officer listed them. And it's just a presumption. But it does give a lot of credence to your position that, hey, I was involved in the accident.
Dans police report là, li vraiment important son présomption li que ou t'es dans accident. So li vraiment important. Ça va vle do pas gen droit, mais li vraiment important pour ta dans police report là, ça va le ba avocat plus opportunité pour le travail pour dans question.
Now I'll also say this. It's the times when people have made mistakes that they need the attorney more. In my opinion, you need an attorney anyway, but if you've made a mistake, like you're not on the police report or you haven't gotten medical treatment within the requisite time or things like that, it doesn't mean you don't have a claim. It means that we have more work to do. So that's even more important to talk to an attorney as quickly as possible.
Même là, dans police report là, ça va vle dire pas gon claim. Li vinn faire travail avocat plus difficile, but ça va vle dire pas gon claim. So si jamais nous pas souhaiter ou dans situation ça, mais si jamais dans situation ça rele nous dans 866 945 47 68 Your Injury Law Group. Nous gen website là tout ou ka aller sur website là avocatparla.com et son un website qui est en créole lié. Ou joindre tout bagay en créole et ou joindre se poser question ou ka poser question les fini ou joindre réponse en créole et c'est avocatparla.com. Numéro téléphone c'est 866 945 47 68.
And for those that are interested in knowing, we also speak Spanish and Portuguese in addition to English and Creole. I know you were just talking about Creole and English.
Nous parlons espagnol, nous gen mon officer qui parle espagnol et gen mon qui parle portugais tout. Et gen mon qui parle anglais, c'est Wop qui parle anglais, moi pas parle anglais. Et là pour Creole là, on a dit mon yo si vous besoin parler anglais, c'est WOB, il y a parlé avec WOB directement et extension WOB là c'est 1000 100
Zero.
0-0-0, 3-0. Yeah, 3-0. Et Wob qui parle anglais, quel que soit le monde qui parle anglais, c'est à Wob vous voulez parler, ou parler directement avec Wob, ou pas parler à personne qui Wob, si vous besoin parler à Wob directement.
You know, we've been talking about some of the issues that happen along the way, but obviously one of the most important parts of what we do as attorneys for our clients is we also help them get resolution of their case at the end of the case, get them compensated for their injuries and for their other damages. And that's probably the most important thing of what we do. But along the way, we do so much more as well.
Yeah, parce que ça nous aider mon yo jeune compensation pour question et nous fait l'autre bagaille tout. Basically, we give a lot of service.
I would like to think so. I certainly hope so, because that's certainly my goal. You know, I figure, look, I recognize that there's a lot of attorney choices that people have. I mean, there's a lot of attorneys out there. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
I want to separate us, your injury law group, by being the firm that does it all for the clients. We want to be the ones who, hey, I know all of it's going to be taken care of. And if there's a reason that you're not going to be able to recover money, I want my clients to understand why.
Yeah.
I don't want them to say, oh, well, we're not going to take the case. Sorry about that. I want to explain why things are the way they are. Because so many times attorneys, I hear from clients anyway, a lot of calls about, well, this happened. I don't know what happened. My attorney never told me.
They don't even know what was in the settlement.
The one thing, exactly, that happens too. The one thing I don't ever want someone to say is, well, my attorneys were your injury law group and I wasn't informed. No, if you're with our firm, we're going to keep you informed. That's the whole goal. That's what I think is important.
Yeah, ça vraiment important depuis mon nan gon question ensemble avec nous involver dans tout ça qui a passé au courant de tout ça qui a passé et Wobla quel que soit monde qui rele nous et Wobla pour parler ensemble avec n'a dit mon yo numéro c'est 866 945 47 68.
You know, it even goes so far as to understanding, like, you know, a lot of the decisions that people make in terms of whether they're going to, lawyers make as far as whether they're going to pursue a case or not, has to do with insurance coverages. I want the clients to understand what their rights are irrespective of the coverages, because the insurance is not the be-all and end-all of what your rights are. You may have rights beyond what the insurance is, and it's important to know that, to understand what your rights are, to understand what your options are, so you can make an informed decision about what you want to do with your claim.
Ça vraiment important pour mon yo connaît, pour client connaît qui doit le gagner. Parce que pas toute l'assurance avec expliquer tout doit gagner. C'est ça que fait ou besoin avocat qui charge expérience qui pour beaucoup dans cas ça qui pour aider et ça fait n'a dit mon yo marquer numéro ça là ka ou mettez le n'importe côté quitter le dans machine ou mettez le dans tiroir mettez le dans cabinet ou mettez le dans porte frigidaire numéro c'est 866 945 47 68 ou ta n'importe accident machine ou faire slip and fall ou glisser ou tomber soit non travail ou gon problème et très bientôt nous gon surprise pour mon yo nous pral gon bagay k'ap venir très bientôt numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. What the last word?
But the last word is if you've been injured at any kind of a claim, whether it's, you know, like you just said, motor vehicle accident, slip and falls, product liability, medical malpractice, libel, slander, any kind of a claim where you have an injury, give us a call. We're happy to help you. We'll certainly sit down with you, talk about what your rights are, and hopefully be able to help you to get a good resolution of your claims. 866 945 47 68. Also at yourinjurylawgroup.com or avocatpaula.com.
Bonsoir, on l'autre pour nous là pour l'autre semaine encore. Numéro n'a pas oublié numéro c'est 866 945 47 68. Nous là pour l'autre émission encore l'autre semaine. All right.
Thank you.